All right, welcome in everybody. If you are here for the first time, welcome to Taidu Shakuhachi Studios, and if you are not, welcome back. We are going to be talking about a couple of things today. I'm just pulling up the notes. I forgot to do that before we started. Typical. And let's see. There we go. And okay, so we're going to be doing today. We're going to talk about the flute giveaway that we're going to be doing. Man, my hair is definitely good for 6 a.m. We're going to showcase the flutes. We're going to talk about some other stuff with some other courses that are happening. We're going to answer some questions, and then we're going to do some repeats, and then we'll take some live stream questions as well. So, first and foremost, let's just get the all of the live streaming stuff. All the live streaming stuff set up. So that's all shared out everywhere. If you're watching this right now, if you can give it a like and then give it a share and then send it out to places so that your friends can join in. We're giving away shakuhachis. We're answering questions about shakuhachi, helping people get started. Hopefully, just getting more and more people involved into the shakuhachi world and playing the instrument. That's what this is all about. Getting as many people as possible to join and enjoy and love the shakuhachi. Okay, with that, a sip of coffee. Because it is 6 a.m. here in Japan. Wonderful, beautiful morning, starting around like 30 degrees. It should be about 36 today. Man, that is hot. So, spend most of the time inside. Okay, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and pull up this here, which will be, and I gotta pull up the questions too. There we go. There are all the questions. And there's that. All right, now I am fully ready. So let's talk about the flute giveaway first. So I had released the video last week, and last week I announced that we're going to be doing 3 flute giveaways. That's right, 3 Yozans. And so I have them with me today, and so we're going to be talking about those. So let me just show you the flutes really quickly. Here are the 3 flute giveaway. But you might say, but Sean, there are 4 flutes. Yeah. One of them is a surprise, but it's not going to be until way later. So I can't tell you about that one, but we have the 4 shakuhachis. Now, how do you win these shakuhachi? Well, the way that you win these shakuhachi is that you join the membership on this channel. So, the first stage, or the first step of it, is that you have to go to this video, this video here, or any of the videos, and right next to the channel name, it says Taidu Shakuhachi. And right after that, it should have a button that says Join. And in that, after you hit that Join button, a bunch of options are going to pop up. The first 4 that are there are what are related right now. So, when you open that up, you'll see that there is a Shoden Trial, Shoden Lesson Series, Chuden, Okuden. Don't worry about the ones that are after that. Those are still in the works. So in the Shoden one, if you sign up for that membership, you'll get 1 ticket for a flute. If you sign up for the if you shine, there's a lot of S's here. Shoden Lesson Series, that will get you 2 tickets. And then if you sign up for the Chuden, that will give you 5. If you give the Okuden, 10. I don't have the full sponsorship package and the Bamboo Lord package figured out all the way yet. But hey, if you want to sign up for it, you get everything that's included in all the other ones. But wouldn't mind if you signed up. Anyway, so those are the first 4. And what their relative tickets are going to be. So with that in mind, let's say you're already signed up though. Right. Okay. So yeah, you sign up. You have that. You have the tickets and whatever. Then you're in the raffle. Let's say you're already signed up. Well, if you're already signed up, you don't have to do anything. You're already automatically into the raffle. If you've won a flute before, you can't win a flute again. And if you don't want the flute when you get it, you can give it away to somebody else, or I can re-raffle it also. So that's totally fine. So let's take a look at these flutes. And then we'll talk about some other stuff too. And I forgot 1 flute. So here's the first one. See if I can get this set up a little better. really like the root end of this one. It's got some nice, interesting colorations here on the bottom. This is a Kinko style. I think the cap size is size 5 or 6. I forgot about how early it was. That's the first one. The thing that I like about these flutes so much is that, well, one, they're cost effective, right? It's not like a lot of the other like shops, if you go to and you want to buy a professional bamboo flute, like the absolute bare minimum you're walking out of there's about well, I'd say now with the yen exchange rate, that's actually a good question. I think the yen is I mean, the yen and the USD are hot talking right now because of the carryover trade. So it's 146.65, so it's a little bit better than where it had dropped down. If you're wondering what the carryover trade is, it's where people borrow money from a cheaper currency and then they go into a market that has a higher yields and dividends from like stocks and bonds and stuff like that. So for example, let's say like if you take a loan from another currency and that currency's loan rate is like 0.5%, like it is in Japan, and then you go over to America and then you take all that money and you put it into CDs, like certified deposits, which are about 4.75%, you're making money, like you're making more money than you're making off of the loan. You take the difference, so you take that 0.5 off of the 4.75, and then you're making 4.25% as a margin. So, but people defaulted on that, so it's caused some problems. All right, but at any rate, so the current like price for these are somewhere around like $600-$700 with that current price in mind. And that's a really, really fair price and really good for the person who wants to get started on playing the shakuhachi flute. So that's this first one. Let's go ahead and check out one of the other ones. And I have to be careful not to drop all of these flutes too. All right, so here is the next one. It's this one actually they're kind of similar to each other with the end root here. I think the end root on this one is particularly beautiful. You can kind of see all like the individual nodes there in that bottom one. That's really nice. This one's Tozan. This one is a size 6.5. Beautiful red lacquer on the inside. And I think this one's a little bit deeper than the previous one. But I don't think it doesn't have as much sound. But it's still a very nice flute. Very easy to play and move around the instrument. Now, here are the other two, and I saved these two for after because I like their colors a lot too. And so, which one will be given out at which time? I don't know. I haven't decided that, but I think what I'll probably do is make it random. Maybe I'll take a die, and I'll roll it, and then I'll have two of them in an even pile and one of them in an odd pile, and then I'll do it again. Two in an even pile, one in an odd pile. That's not a bad idea. So here are the next two, right? And I like these a lot, specifically because of their color, especially on the bottom, the root ends here. Some people don't like this actually. Some people prefer just like the really plain, pure bamboo look. These also are the same, like that we have one Kinko and one Tozan, and really it doesn't matter. Because it's by the same maker. They both play incredibly well. let's see. This one's a size 5, one's a size 6. This is a size 5. I'm trying to be aware that it's also 6 in the morning, and I kind of forgot about. I didn't think about that as I was planning this. Here's the last one. So they have the full range. They all sound fantastic. So again, if you want to win these flutes, it's very simple. All you have to do is sign up for the membership. So you look at this channel, you see the Taidu Shakuhachi name there, and then there's a join button. Hit that join button, and then on the Shoden Trial, you get 1 ticket for the raffle. The Shoden Lesson Series, you get 2 tickets for the raffle. Chuden Series, 5 tickets, and then the Bamboo Series, or the Okuden level, you get 10 tickets. I need to get one other flute here quickly, which is this one, because I would like to move on to our next topic. Okay, so next topic is also a course giveaway, or not a course giveaway. We're doing our next Hito Yogiri course, so I want to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to get into the questions that I had pre-prepared for this live stream. So we're going to go over a bunch of different shakuhachi technique questions and whatnot. But before we do that, we have to talk about the Hito Yogiri course. So for those who are already in the Hito Yogiri course, this won't be any news to you. So I'm not going to talk about your particular class, which is the Ichikotsu and Hyojo course. So we have the transitional mode and the fall mode that we'll be teaching to you all. Now, with this mode, though, however, this one, we're going to be starting another beginner Oshiki course. So, just to tell you, this is the Hito Yogiri. This is the older shakuhachi. It actually used to just be called the shakuhachi. It's got a really good, interesting background story. If you're interested in that, I did a video with Linfamy over on his channel, and it's the Hito Yogiri. So type in Hito Yogiri, Linfamy, Limfamy, and that video will pop up, and you can learn about some interesting history about the flute. The instrument plays in modes, so just like shakuhachi does. But all these modes have different effects and colors and all this kind of stuff, and so we have divided up the courses based on the modes. So this year in October, we'll be teaching the summer mode, which is really the best one for the first mode to be taught. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to post the link here for the course into the chat so that you're able to check that out if you're interested. And the course is 3 months long. It's $500. The Hito Yogiri itself is a professional quality resin made Hito Yogiri, and honestly, you would never know that it wasn't bamboo. It's also has urushi lacquer, Japanese lacquer, on the inside and outside of it, so it looks beautiful, plays beautiful, and the characters on the top are 24 karat gold. All of that can be found on my website. So for the courses and stuff like that, we hope that you would join. This instrument is an absolute joy. Especially if you're interested in the really old music, we'll be doing all the music that we play. It comes from Edo manuscripts. So especially ones from the earliest part. We have one that's like 1603, and then there's another one that's like 19. But at any rate, they're very, very fun to play. It's been an absolute joy to work with Nick. So I hope that you join us in reviving the Hito Yogiri, which has been going well, very well, having a lot of people sign up to do the classes and so on. Okay, so now we can finally move on to the next part of this video. I think we got all of the business stuff out of the way, and we can now talk about questions for shakuhachi. So I'm just going to give this a big old copy paste here, and then I'm going to make the text bigger so I can read these off easily. Okay. Selected images will not be supported. Okay. Oh, I have to go up to the top. That's a lot more questions than I thought. Okay, so here we go. The first question that I have here is by Megus. And it says, when I pop 3 or 4, especially 4, the shakuhachi shakes a little bit. Any tips to minimize that? Okay, so my thought here is that as you're playing, most likely you're probably gripping too hard. So especially if you're here, and then you're gonna hit that 4, like that, and you're probably really tense on the left hand or the right hand if you're on top. The other thing too is that you most likely are not having the hand relax, the right hand or the left hand on the bottom part of the shakuhachi relax, and having the middle finger set on the bamboo, and that's what's causing the bamboo to shake as well. So you kind of get this 3 if you grab too hard. Now 3 without that, now it doesn't make the movement. So I would say the main tip that is here without seeing you play, I would say that it's going to be something to do with the hands. So if you're gripping too hard, then definitely that the flute is going to shake, and it's going to especially with the 4th finger too. But the 3rd it shouldn't even shake nearly as much as the 4th does. So loosen up the grip a little bit, hold the shakuhachi lighter, and that should solve that problem almost right away. Okay, we have another question here from, actually we have a couple questions here from Linus. So let's go ahead and hit these out. What Western keys work best with the 1.8? This is a really good question. So what he means by the Western keys is what key signature. So we have something like C major, D major, E major, all this kind of stuff. My general take on this is going to be the first 3 sharps and the first 3 flats of any key signature. So C major works really nicely on the shakuhachi. Very, very nicely. A minor also works very nicely as well. F major and D minor, I mean the flute's basis is in D anyways, so that works really, really well. F major also works well unless you go up into that 3rd octave, then the F up there becomes a little bit tricky, but in general F major as a key fits very nicely on the shakuhachi. Now we have B flat. B flat major is, of course you don't get that kind of nice resonant big B flat on the instrument because of just where it is positionally, but the B flat major key fits nicely on the instrument. And then that would be G minor. G minor works absolutely smashingly. And then 3 flats we have E flat major. E flat major is okay. I would prefer being in C minor because the E flat major, when you play it, the only way to get a nice large E flat is to do an alternate fingering for the E flat here. So let's say if I was playing, I can get there at that point, but it does feel a little bit more awkward because the main and strongest notes in E flat major are going to be E flat and B flat, whereas in its relative minor it would be C and G. And so C and G that works a lot better. So E flat maybe not, but it's still the same notes as C minor. Going the other direction, we have G major and E minor. Now E minor works really well in terms of all of its fingerings, except for the fact that the bass note is E. So in my opinion, if I see a piece that's in E minor and it's in E minor through and through, I'm gonna grab my 1.6 because it's just I want that stronger E, not a tsuchumeri on that note. G major works lovingly. D minor and B minor, those are both fine on the shakuhachi. That's C sharp, F sharp. And then after that we have A major, F sharp minor. So A major is fine, F sharp minor, maybe not so. But really great question. So those are the, I guess, so minus 2 keys. So that would be what? 3, 6, 7, 8, minus 2. So 6 keys, right? Okay. How about with 1.6? With the 1.6, it would when I do my notations for shakuhachi and when I like read, I do it just as if I was playing Western flute. So if I see a C, I'm playing a C on the instrument, but it might sound something else. So if I see a C and I'm playing C on a 1.6, I'm going to be getting a D pitch. For those who are confused about transpositions, I'm sorry. Transpositions can be kind of a nightmare. But like in regular flute playing, if you play like an alto flute, you don't play the notes that you're actually playing. You play the fingerings of it, and so that's what I would do too here. So the exact same keys, just shift them all up a whole step. So if you're playing in C major, it would be D major. If you're playing in F major, it'd be G major. If you're playing in A major, it'd be B major, so on and so forth. Okay, what is the deal? And these are all by Linus still. So Linus's second question here. Which is, what's the deal with 7-hole flutes? Okay, so I can answer that question about 7-hole flutes. So 7-hole flutes, they add 2 additional holes onto the shakuhachi. The first one is between the chi and the rei, and the second one is between the tsu, or the first hole and the bell end hole, right? So what this allows for is when you play this note, you're able to get, like here, you can lift up the pinky and you'll get an E flat. And you'll get the E flat at the same sort of level or near the same sort of level as the roll that you would play on shakuhachi. So that way you get this nice big, resonant E flat that you normally couldn't get because you have to do this like 3/4 hole and dipping the head down to get the note. So that's why that hole is there. The second hole here, when you add this one, you'll get an A flat and then an A. So that's what that, or sorry, no. I believe it's A and B flat, if I'm not mistaken, because it raises the pitch up. So those 2 variations that you would get also open up more possibilities for the 3rd octave. So the 3rd octave, that F natural becomes out or comes out more clearly and more readily. So that's where that's what the deal is with the 7-hole flutes. And of course, because you have these 2 extra holes on the flutes, it makes it easier to play a lot of contemporary music. So when you see people who are playing primarily music that was written in like 1960 for shakuhachi koto and onward, or even doing other pops music and stuff like that, that's what they're doing. They are using those flutes in order to play that music. Now, my theory or my belief of this is that you don't actually need the 7-hole flute to do that. So I do all of my contemporary music on 5-hole flutes. Okay, fantastic question. And for those, I think that like the live stream only has just a few people in it, but later I hope that when people are watching this, I hope that you enjoy all these questions and answers. Originally I was going to do this for like a Taidu's Tips series, but I thought since I'm here, I can just lay them all out now and it becomes a nice video, not just an advertisement video for winning free flutes. Okay, what's the best way to develop koro koro? This is also by Linus. So I have a couple videos on koro koro. I think that it's one of the colors that when people first experience shakuhachi, they go, I want to be able to do that. I really want to be able to play that sound. So with the koro koro, it's a very simple technique. All you're doing is you have all the holes on the top of the flute covered, and you have the back hole open, and you're just lifting up the first hole, setting down on the first hole, and then lifting up in the second hole and setting down on the second hole. The issue that comes to play is that you have this motion is what really gets people. That stop in between the 2 notes. That's what really stops people from getting a really good koro koro. So lift, set, lift, set, lift, set, lift, set. So that's the basics of the technique, right? And you play it really slow. and then over as you get some speed, then you actually hear the color of that koto koto. So how do you develop that? My recommendation is to work with a metronome and go very, very slowly with it at first. So you're getting... And over time, you'll be able to control that more, and you'll develop that sound. And you'll be able to change its dynamics and so on and so forth, and you'll have a lot of success with it. But yeah, it's just slowly with the metronome and build consistency. Okay. Next question from Linus as well is, what's the deal with medi cuts on fingering holes? Okay. So on this one, it takes a little bit of anatomy for the shakuhachi to explain what he means by medi cuts. So normally on the shakuhachi, you'll have these round holes. Medi cuts will sometimes have a little extra dip that's cut in the bottom of the hole, and usually it's done on the first and the fourth hole. And the reason why this is done is so that it's easier to play medi notes, specifically himeri and sumeri. Some people will call it cheating. I think it actually makes the instrument a little bit more difficult to play, because now you have more hole to cover every single time you close it. So the holes need to be made smaller, and then with the medi cut, rather than just made this normal size and so on. But they're actually a little bit more oblong shaped. It also helps with volume range too. So when you have those medi cuts, you can actually play your sumeris louder, but you're not playing it at the same level as what you would get if you were playing a 7-hole shakuhachi. Same thing with the himeri. It's like that. You can get more sound out of it, but you're not doing it as if you were playing a 7-hole shakuhachi. Okay, so that's basically what it is with the medi cuts. I don't use them. I've seen people that use them before, but again, I think it takes away from the natural sound of the bamboo, or that I wanted to say it that way. I think like the traditional way of making the shakuhachi, it takes away from that sound. Like I want the medi notes to be softer and warm and fuzzy sounding. That's what medi is for me. Okay. Last question from Linus is, best ways to trill on hole 5. Oh, what a question. So what he means is he's talking about like re to e. Like that kind of stuff, and that it's just a thing of like the dexterity you have to train. And so again, just like with koto koto, you go and you take the metronome, little drink of water, and you just slowly get that faster. Until you get to a speed that you feel comfortable with. Also, for me, I'm just using the thumb. You could also do like an actual like hand shake. So you're kind of like balancing the middle finger and keep the and the thumb, and you create a little distance, and you can kind of do it like that. And you can get sort of a really fast trill, but that wouldn't be useful for a long-term thing. Like you can't keep just holding that with consistency. If you're gonna do something that is like how many beats long, you have to develop the speed on the thumb, and it's not just the speed too, because you could get it fast, but then it's not even. It has to be fast and even, and so that's why I think that the metronome work, just putting the metronome on and then playing with the clicks, and then playing like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and D E D E D E D E D E D E D E D E D. Then faster. so on and so forth, so you can just build up that speed. Well, that's a great question, and I think it's one that many people struggle with too. Okay, now we are going to go on to, let's see, Megus, who says, any tips on developing quick and precise switches between medi and kari notes? A good example where it's necessary are the quick runs in Komori Uta from the Shoden book. Okay, so yeah, that's a good question too. So let's pull up the Shoden book briefly, and I know which passage he's talking about, so I will just play that really quickly. Okay, files, music, books. There it is. All right. All right. So it's talking about the first line of the second page and the last line of the first page. So this is what the line sounds like. So that little motion, you have ro, you have tsumeri, then you have re, then you have chimeri, and so ro, tsumeri, re, chimeri, hi. So you see, you have to move from one position to the next position at every given moment, right? Like, or every stage you have to shift. So he's asking, how can I make that more clear and more efficient? So when I teach medi, I don't teach it just as a head movement down. Rather, it's a collection of things that you do, because we're not just trying to create the position and the feeling of going down as they would traditionally, but now we're trying to be more technically accurate and also add in the element of pitch too. So when we go from a kari note to a medi note, there's basically four things that you have to consider as you play. The first thing is the head position coming down, right? That's the obvious one. The second one is the flute position coming up. The third thing is the jaw relaxing. And then the fourth thing is the actual fingering that you're going to be using. Now, not all of those are dramatic. So what I mean by that is that you don't have to dip your head down a lot, raise the flute up a bunch, and then really dig into the hole and then like open up the jaw so you have a super wide embouchure. The reason why I do it with these four techniques is because you can do each one of those just a little bit. So you slightly do the head movement down. You slightly lift the flute up. You slightly, deepen the fingering if it's a half hole or so on and so forth. And then you slightly open up the jaw. So that way when I play this section, it comes through very clearly, and I'm not like overly moving the head or the jaw or anything like that. So if I was to just do it just with the head motion, right? That's like with me not trying to use the flute and I'm trying to break my good habits. Then the head motion is a lot more difficult. So then if you're trying to play that fast, right, then things will dip and jump and not come out or sound kind of like wishy-washy, I guess you could say it. But then with all of them together, then you can really go through that and make it quite clean as well. When you're doing these motions, they have to be like a slight jerking motion. You don't want to just slowly change the position, because otherwise you're going to get right. This too liquidy, and then everything is also kind of put together in that sense. So those are my four tips for that, with creating a better connection between the kari and the medi and like the head position and so on and so forth. Okay, let's go on to another question. A compilation of exercises or small drills for working through general shakuhachi or for an earlier piece. Yeah, I have. I actually have drills for this that I do. So I won't give away all of them because a lot of them are actually in the Shoden series. So if you go to that little join button right there in the bottom, that right there will give you to all the series and lessons that are available for shakuhachi. And actually, since we're at the half an hour mark, before we answer that question, let's go over why we're even here in the first place. Good morning, JW. Okay, so this whole entire live stream is showcasing the 3 upcoming shakuhachi giveaways. But you might ask, but Sean, there's 4 flutes. Well, we'll talk about that at another time. But yes, I'm giving away 3 different shakuhachis. All you have to do is become a member. So our first giveaway is September 30th at 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time. Then the next one is November 25th, 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time. And then the last one is January 27th, 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time. All you have to do is just sign up and be a member just like JW is. So if you are on the membership and you are in the first tier, you will have 1 ticket towards winning a new flute. If you are on the second level, Shoden Lesson Series, you will have 2 tickets towards winning a flute. If you're in Chuden, you get 5, and if you get the Okuden, you'll get 10 tickets. So I'm using the flutes this morning, and I'm going to change flutes now. I'm using the flutes to teach and talk about all this stuff for the giveaway. So let's get back into it. Of course, I have a bunch of pre-written out questions here, but if you would like to ask a question as well, I am more than happy to go through it today and help out. So going back to Christian's question, Christian buying. So I have a lot of different exercises for people who are in those beginner stages for wanting to learn how to play shakuhachi and so on. But because so much of that material is in the lesson series and it's in the membership, I don't want to just give that stuff away. But I'll give you one that I think is really, really helpful just to build up dexterity. And so what that one is just using the metronome. And again, I think that metronome is like, I've already mentioned it now like 6 times in a lot of this video. So the main thing is just doing this one note from another note patterns. So like Rodetsu. And then speeding up the metronome and doing it again. Just to build the dexterity. Then you do the Tsudere. Then you can do note skips like ro to re. And so on and so forth. And you get a bunch of those and you do all those different variations. And the reason why that's helpful is just because it helps you learn the flute and you start to develop a relationship with how all the fingers can move to each note. And also especially keeping the middle fingers relaxed as you play the instrument. So that is my tip for like the beginner. Because sometimes like the music, even though like Hongyaku is slow, there's a lot of detailed hand maneuver stuff, and we have to develop our dexterity in order to play really well. Okay, now I'm going to switch from a little bit of water to coffee. Okay, let's get to another question here. Oh, another question from Linus. Feel free to ask your questions in the live chat as well. If not, I've got plenty. It's interesting, yeah. Like I always want people to ask questions in the live stream, but I actually get a lot more people who then like email me after the live stream, say, yeah, I popped in the live stream for like 10 minutes because I was at work or whatever, and I really wanted to ask questions, but I couldn't. So then they email me and then I answer them there. So we got to figure out a better live stream time. Okay, half holding or just head dips, other than perhaps making merry note louder. Does it really matter which method you use? The tone color seems the same if the flute is if it or is it flute dependent? Actually, I think this one is a Bayin's question, and that last one was Dale's. Ah, sorry about that. So the small drills, that was for Dale. Now we're on to Bayin's question. Okay, so this is about half holing or just doing a head dip. Okay, so he's referencing Medi and Kadi here. And the question is basically, do you really need to half hole on the flute? Okay, so if you're going to be playing like classical style shakuhachi, like actual old style shakuhachi, not just by name. Let me pick up my Edo flute so I can kind of show this. So here's the Edo flute. Now, one of the things that you'll probably notice about this right away is just look at the hole size difference. Okay, like that's already like huge. Okay, now look at the thickness size of the flute too. Okay, these Edo flutes, the pitches bend a lot more. How do I want to say it? Because I don't want to say easily, because these flutes tend to be harder to play in general. But they have a greater range of motion without doing half holes. And part of that is also just because of the design of the flute in general. But let's say if I want to play, let's just play the row. This is a 1.7. So what that is there is I actually just played the Tsu Daimeri without even shading a hole. Now, that on these modern flutes, so here's the row again. Impossible. It's not happening, right? Maybe. But, so I can get it sort of, but totally not practical at all. Okay? And that's because of the way the flute is designed. That this flute is designed that you would cover the hole. Here, it's not the case. You either use alternate fingerings, or you're just using the head motion. And that's how you get those different sounds. So to answer the question and kind of not answer the question is that it really depends on the style that you're playing. So anything that's modern and that has larger holes, do the head dip and the whole fingerings. And because it's just going to help with pitch in general. These flutes are designed to play in a specific key, in a different style. Like if I play this flute straight, it's not in tune, because it already requires that there would be natural head movements when you're playing. So on and so forth, all these different keys and whatever. But it helps with having these flutes, because then you'll be able, to move. So that's the answer to the question. A little bit long-winded. Sorry about that. I kind of got lost in the sound of the Edo flute there for a moment. It's just such a beautiful instrument. But yes, it is a lot more about the tone color in general. So whatever helps you get that tone color. So there should be an obvious difference between Tsu-Chumeri and Tsu-Meri. But so Tsu-Chumeri and Tsu-Meri are already so different, even though they're only a half step away, that if you're doing it by both the head movement and by the fingering movement, you're going to get a different color. Okay. Okay, here are some questions these are from Audrey. So 1, how to care for your flute during travels? Okay, now we're getting into some even more important questions on, to keep these flutes safe as we travel. Okay, so let's say you got yourself an old bamboo flute here, and you need to take care of it because you were going on a trip to see some people or to do a concert or whatnot, whatever it may be. Maybe you're going to the Taidu Shakuhachi Festival or the Taibo Festival. Don't know what that is? Well, join the membership, find out more. So, here, the first thing is having a cap on, whether it be leather, whether it be something, whatever. The most sensitive and easily breakable part of the flute is right here, that utaguchi. And the repair that sucks the most is that one right there. You can get cracks on the flute and everything, bind them up, no problem. A little bit of lacquer on the inside, it's easy. It's not that bad. This, when that cracks and when that breaks, that's a problem. So, first and foremost, this must stay on. So even when I'm not playing, like even in my lessons, I think my students hear this sound. Wasn't going to be an ASMR video, but apparently it is now. But they hear that sound all the time because as soon as I'm done playing, that goes right back on. And I'm almost kind of like OCD about it. And like literally off screen, if I'm teaching a lesson just like this, say we're having one-on-one lesson, you just played Kumoi Jishi, wow, you sound so good. Let me give you an example. And blah, 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 I'm playing, and then they hear that. And so it's just because, look, you drop this, right? This part, no problem, right? Not a big issue. Up here, huge issue. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is talking about the humidity levels of the flute. So because I'm living in Japan now, I almost never put my flutes away when it's spring, summer, fall. Wintertime, I put them away. I put them in the bags and they'll go into their cases and stuff like that. But every other part of the year I don't. I leave them out because it's humid enough here. I play every single day anyways. I'm teaching every single day. So, the flutes are getting oil on the hands and so on and so forth. So recommendation for you is play every single day. The more that you hold the flute and the oils from your hand go onto the bamboo, the better the flute will be. The less likely it's going to crack, especially blowing into it, putting on all the humidity and so on and so forth, condensation, so on and so forth. But do be sure to clean the flute out if you are a heavy spitter. So having something like this, sending it through the flute, get it all squeaky clean, be perfect. Then after that, if you have a plastic sleeve or a long plastic sleeve, you put that flute right in that sleeve, and then you can put it into a little case, put it into your backpack, or so on and so forth. If you are traveling on a plane, make sure it goes onto the plane with you, not underneath. All of that, like extreme temperature changes, extreme humidity changes, that's what makes flutes crack. So there you have it. Okay. My tricks to stay motivated, this is also by Audrey. My tricks to stay motivated when hitting a roadblock when learning a new piece. Okay. Go out to dinner. Play a good video game. Read a book. Do something else artistic. So on and so forth. I think that it's just walking away from it. Walking away from the instrument to do something else for a little bit of time will definitely bring back the drive, the joy, the excitement in order to continue working on the piece. But that's what I'd recommend. But that moment where you feel frustration and the moment when you feel stress, and I know this is going to be awful. You're going to hate this answer, but that's a sign that you're actually making growth. I remember there was it's kind of like a semi-viral video of a rabbi who was talking about like being frustrated in life and having stress and so on and so forth. And much like Jordan Peterson talks about this with lobsters. Like when lobsters are feeling stressed, what they do is they lock themselves under a big rock somewhere, and they shed the shell that they have, and then they grow a new shell that fits better, right? Because they're literally growing out of the shell, and they're basically too big for it, and so they feel uncomfortable and stressed, and they just go underneath a rock. And it's kind of the same thing what we have. Is like we get kind of stressed. We have to shed all of this stuff and break through a new level, and then we metaphorically grow in this sense. So when you feel those stress points, and when you're feeling like a piece is really just giving you the worst time, it's most likely because you're growing through it. Now, that's not to say that the piece could just be too hard for you and it's the wrong type of stress. So make sure that with your teacher, if you're trying to learn this other piece, you should show this to them like, look, is this piece too hard for me? Or is this something I can actually physically do? Am I capable of doing this or not? Because if you're not actually capable of doing it and you're overestimating your abilities, which, again, it's not a problem if you do that. I think it's good to challenge yourself, so go for it. But if it is overestimating your abilities and there's just a bunch of places in the piece that you can't do, okay, put it off to the side, get better on some other things, come back to it at a later date. Okay, how to relax the jaw during long practice sessions. Ooh. Man, these are some really good questions. I didn't read through all of them before coming on here, and that's a really good question too. Okay, I would say the first thing is how you actually divvy up your practice session when you're working on a new piece of music, or you're playing shakuhachi, or whatever it may be. You don't want to just play for 4 hours straight, right? That is a great way to develop what is that called? TMJ, the kind of like jaw lock and stuff like that, and muscle spasms. You don't want to do that. The best practice sessions go, like, at least in my opinion, go like this. You have some sort of physical activity that warms up the body. You have a warm-up period for the flute, right, where you're actually becoming reacquainted with the flute. Then you have a small break, and then you start your actual practice session. The longest I would play straight without a break would be 50 minutes. And then you need a 10-minute to 15-minute break. Then you can come back and play. If you keep just going and going and going and going and going without taking any rest periods, you're really going to mess up your jaw, and it's going to become tighter and tighter. So then every time you come to the flute, it just gets worse. And don't believe like the myths of like people say like, oh, I was practicing 8 or 9 hours a day. It's like you can't physically practice 8 or 9 hours a day. You just can't. There's no way. And I can tell you why, because there's no way that you can to actually maintain the focus that's necessary for practice. You might be playing your instrument for 8 or 9 hours a day, but you surely aren't practicing. Guaranteed. Because that level of focus that is required for practice is extraordinarily mentally draining. So that is my thing there. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think you should only play 2 or 3 hours a day, like, or practice 2 to 3 hours a day if you can. You should do playtime, because playtime is extremely important for the instrument, and it's really good for your mental health too, to not just constantly be goal oriented, but also to just say, I just want to play and make really nice sounds, because growth and development can happen there too, but it's not practice. Okay, your tricks to beat stage fright, specific warm-ups or drills. Okay. I've been asked this question multiple times, and I don't think my answers are very satisfactory, because I don't really have stage fright. I have no problem. I have stage excitement. Right? It's a different problem. I get so excited that I just start rushing and stuff like that. But it's not an anxiety by any means. I just really enjoy that performance. I mean, I have no problem putting my face onto YouTube and playing music and whatever, and answering questions and whatnot. And a lot of people just say, I would never do that. They couldn't even imagine having themselves as a public, or having like their face kind of being presented in public and to be seen by many people. So if you're wanting to do that, then I think it's important to learn some skills to counteract that. But I think for lots of people, many people, especially people who watch my channel, is that shakuhachi is not that for them. Shakuhachi is that thing that they like to do on the weekends. They practice during the week after they get off of a busy schedule of work. I know people who bring their shakuhachis to work with them, and they hang out in the cubicle during lunchtime, and they play their shakuhachi. Great, it's awesome. Like, you know, Bill from accounting comes by and say, "Hey, what's that thing you're tuning on?" "Oh, this is shakuhachi, Bill." "Well, it sounds mighty fine." And then that's it. That's their audience member, right? Bill from accounting comes by. Other people, it's, you know, family members and friends, and they want to put on little small concerts. Okay, yeah, I mean, you could get a little bit stage fright by that. For something like in that case, it would just be, he's got to do it. So I'll tell you how I kind of got over my, I don't know if I'd call it an actual fear, but because it wasn't the stage that made me afraid. It was, do I actually know what I'm doing, sort of fear. And what I sort of how I overcame that is I just did it. Right? I just went out and performed, and I commissioned composers, and I just did it, and I didn't care. And after a time, like, there was a point where I was living out of a suitcase for, I think, 3 or 4 months, and like it was, I was in Taiwan, and then I came back, and then I did an event in Illinois, and then I left, and I went to Ohio and did an event, and then I left and did Arizona, and then I left, and then I did an event in London, and then I left, and then I did an event in other place, and I was just all over the place for like 4 months. And at one point, like, I remember the flip of just being like, it's another job, it's just another gig, gotta go and gotta play, right? I mean, I could be really excited about it, like I can't wait to, you know, play this composer's piece or do this new piece or whatever it may be. But at one point it just became, it's just another performance, and there was no time for me to be anxious for that event. There is no time to be anxious for whether or not I really knew the music or something like that. It's like, well, do I really know it? Do I really know it to the best of my ability? And so on and so forth. You'll never get it to the absolute best of your ability, because you're always going to be growing and getting better as a good musician. So even that thinking of, I have to make 100%. No, it's just not going to happen, because a week later, you're going to say, oh, well, if I had to practice more like I do now, and the way I am right now, if me playing it now, I would have played it so much better. Like, get over that. I mean, it's a way to look back constantly. You forget about the old performances and whatever. You know, you don't want to dwell on them whether they were good or bad. You just want to keep pushing forward to the next thing and get better and better. So that's my little thing. I don't think that, you know, my advice is going to help for people who really do have like a crippling stage fright. Some people really struggle with it so much, and that they barely can even hold their instrument on stage because it's so so bad. But if I'm just going to be really honest about it, right? If your stage fright is that bad, then maybe playing on stage is not for you. But if it's something you really want to do, if you have this desire and this inner calling to be on stage, to play, and you're having this one struggle, that's another thing, right? But if you don't really even like it, and it's like debilitating for you, probably best not to do it. Okay, let's see. Magus, another question here. And I still have a few more, so 2 more left. So if you have any questions for people who are watching the live stream, if any other questions are coming to mind that you would like me to answer in this time, please write them into the chat box, or you can email me through my website, seanheadmusic.com. Go to the contact page, or the contact form, which is on the bottom. Just scroll all the way down, and you should be able to reach out to me there. Okay, here we go. How to get through the phase of diminishing results when you got to the basics, and the further progress takes so much more time, and you even feel demotivated and by a lack of progress. All right, so this one calls for me to take out my handy dandy sheet of paper, and we're going to draw some stuff for you, because I want to show you kind of how this sort of stuff works. And it's kind of interesting because it also is the same as the stock market, like for a really powerful stock. And of course, I only have green on green. Let me grab another piece of paper. Okay, we are back. So, let's say that you're an absolute beginner, right? And you're starting from nothing. Okay, well, when you first start, you take your first lesson and you learn some stuff. Okay. Okay, this is basically what consistent practice will look like over like a period of like years, right? Like this. Okay. So this is like the start, and this is the finish. Okay. Now, of course, like there's many people who have like varied results here. Like not everybody's going to be exactly like this, but it starts to dip off, and like the moments, like these big steps, kind of go away, and so you might actually be like right here, and you're kind of getting to the point where you really reached a very high level of playing, and it just isn't going right. But another thing that could be happening too is just that the steps are becoming not as big, right? So you could be in this area. So now that being said, with those things, there's another thing that happens in the plateau period, because it never just goes like level up and then you maintain that level. It's always like you plateau and then it starts to sink down, and you feel like you're actually not getting better, you're actually getting worse. Once you feel that point of where like I feel like I'm getting worse, what I do to trick myself is I say, a big level jump is coming. I'm about ready to hit that next little point where I feel more confident on my instrument, I'm moving better, I'm moving faster, I get deeper tone, deeper resonant, and so on. And it still happens to me, right? Still happens to me as I'm practicing and teaching. I get to these points, I plateau, I'm like, okay, it's not the same, it's boring. Okay, oh man, I'm getting worse. Something's about ready to happen. Boom, next level comes up. And it's not like this major difference at my level now. Now, when you're like Shoden, Chuden, Okuden, and you're, in your first like 5 years, 10 years of learning, those mountains that you go over, they're going to be huge every single time. I have this student who she just finished her Okuden, and she came out to the festival that Nick Belando and I do, the Taibo Festival, which we're doing again this year in Aomori. If you're interested in that, you're going to have to email me and join the Discord and stuff like that. But anyways, so she came into the festival and all these sort of things, and she had some one-on-one lessons with me, and then she goes back, and then we meet online again for her continued lessons. And then just out of nowhere, just explosion, and she comes back, and it's like a different person. Like, the ability of playing and so on and so forth. Just massive change. Then what happens is, okay, a couple months or half a year passes and so on, she keeps practicing, and it plateaus, right? Nothing's happening. She starts complaining to me about whatever. Then one day she comes and says, hey, I learned the piece that you composed, and I really want to play that for you. I'd like to go through it together. And then just, boom, massive growth once again. And then just completely different person, sounds incredible. So that sort of like practice is, I think, if you're really diligent about it, you get this, right? You get this sort of stock market, like a really healthy stock market look where things are just, going up crazy. Now, what you don't want, though, is you don't want, there's two other types of things where I say they're unhealthy, and they would also be unhealthy also in other charts too. So you don't want like this, and you don't want this. Okay, like both of these are also like really bad to have. Okay, it's not good to put in a bunch of time in like a week, practicing like 10 hours every single day. Well, like we said, we can't even practice 10 hours. But, putting in like the absolute maximum amount of time and just going crazy for a week, burning yourself out, hitting the super high level, and then dropping. right? Or then you practice one day and you don't practice for 3 days. And you practice one day and you don't practice for 3 days. And you get this up and down. There's no steady growth, right? It has to be consistency. Consistency is king. So I've seen people who come into the studio, they work their butt off for 1 month, 2 months maybe, and they get massive results and they're sounding so good, and then they just stop because they overdid it. They pushed themselves too hard to the point where they didn't want to play anymore, and it became too much for them. So moderation is very, very important. So I know that's a lot about diminishing results, but I would say don't push it. Don't push it at all, because otherwise it could backfire on you really badly. That happened more frequently than you would expect at the conservatory when I was there. So when I was at the Cleveland Institute of Music, there were people who overdid it, and they quit. Just quit cold turkey, and they did something else. They dropped out of school completely, and they went back. That happened a lot, actually. You'd have people transfer in from other schools, and then they'd be there for half a year, and then they were done, gone, right? They thought that maybe it was a school choice or whatever. I think it was their practicing habits. Because if you don't have a balance of just, and I mean this is more for conservatory students now as recommendation, but if you don't have good practicing habits and have a social life and having friends and keeping yourself healthy and eating on time, there's famous string players who are out there right now that went to my school, and when they were at the school, some of them were working themselves so hard, we can actually even say to death, that they would faint in their oral studies class. Right? They say, "All right, so and so, time for you to sing the line." Do it. Boom, on the ground. Face is blue, and they're not breathing. Right? That's actually happened. So not like I'm not so worried about that as people who are watching my channel who are just trying to say, "Dude, I just want to blow a row, man." I'm not about that. Good. But I do have some people who really want to do shakuhachi professionally, who want to make shakuhachi as a part of their career. They would love to teach students. They would like to ascend the levels and do concerts and stuff like that. So for those people, don't overdo it. Be very careful about that. Your health is way more important than, getting a bigger, louder rope. Your health is way more important than trying to memorize every single piece in the canon. Because if you're not around, then you cannot play the instrument anyways. Okay, so we will do one final thing for the giveaway, just to talk about that again, and then I will take whatever questions are in the live stream. And if there's no questions for the live stream, it's totally fine. That's why I prepared them on the Discord prior to, so there was content to talk about. So for those who I have a couple friends who watch the things who are also shakuhachi players who are saying I just don't want to ask questions, man. I just like watching. And some people are also, they're listening on their phone and they can't actually type in anything, so they're not even watching. So if I do something weird, they don't even see it. They just listen back. And then we have Eggnog. Eggnog looks like a new person. Hello, welcome in. Thank you for stopping in for the live stream. So let me go quickly over the giveaway again. So first and foremost, we will introduce the 4 flutes that we're giving away, all bamboo, made by Yozan, for the 3 giveaways. But Sean, if there's only 3 giveaways and there's 4 flutes, what on earth are you doing? We'll talk about that at a later date. So, but they're all 1.8 shakuhachis this time around. I am thinking about in the future of doing different size flutes. I'm thinking about maybe doing next 4 1.6 giveaways. So, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Just one thing at a time, I already got 3 giveaways and I have a 4th flute, and I don't know what I'm going to do with. I'm only joking. I do know what I'm going to do with it, but we'll talk about that later. So if you want to win a flute, you need to join the membership. So on screen, you should see right below this video, right there should be a join button. So you got to click that join button. And when you click that join button, it will also stop the live stream too, as I'm noticing here. There are 4 levels that are related to this. You have the Shoden level, Shoden Trial, Shoden Lesson, Chuden, and Okuden Lesson Series. The Shoden Trial gives you 1 ticket for the raffle. The Shoden Lesson Series gives you 2 tickets. The Chuden gives you 5, and then the Okuden gives you 10. Now there are some other stuff down here, full sponsorship and Bamboo Lord. Don't worry about that stuff yet. It's not complete. So, but hey, if you want to sign up for it, I'm happy to give you the 10 tickets for it. You'll get 10 tickets. So, but at any rate, those are the options for that right now. On there as well, there's a bunch of just lesson content. So it's not just about winning a flute when you're signing up for it. There are hundreds of lessons on these channels that you can get access to. If you want to access them more easily, you can go to my website, seanheadmusic.com/memberships. Or just go to seanheadmusic.com and then you'll see a YouTube memberships tag. And there we actually have a video screen platform thingy with a drop-down menu, and everything is already organized out for you from start to finish, both free stuff and the paid things. So even if you're not a part of the membership, but you want an easier way to navigate my channel to watch videos, you can go to my YouTube or my website YouTube membership page, and there's a bunch of stuff there that you can see. So let's go see. Oh, a couple questions here. JW asked, is it worth buying a shakuhachi from auction sites in Japan? This is a very good question. And I think this is a question I've gotten before, but I'm happy to answer it again. I've seen before, like, there's a lot of like YouTube channels that I watch on like a variety of topics where sometimes people will get the same question and they'll say, please refer to episode 135 where I answer this question at minute mark 6. Like, that entire explanation that you just gave about where to find it, you could have answered the question. So, JW, here's my answer for your question. Yes and no. It depends on who you are. Okay, now it makes a lot of sense for someone like me to go through and buy one of them because I know exactly what to look for. And this is like in any sort of field. All right. So recently I've been putting a little bit more like studied focus in stocks because it's a high, it's something I've done for a long time. And something I've done like studies here and there, but I can't go into the stock market and say that one right there, that one's going to do really well. I'm relatively certain that that one's going to be successful. But there are people who can do that, look at the news, look at the trends, check out the company, and then by amassing all the information, they go, yeah, this one in 6 months is going to probably appreciate by 25%, but after that, they're going to have a market fall. They're not going to be able to meet up with their sales demand. They're going to lay layoffs, blah, blah, blah. They're going to drop by 11%, sell at 6 months. And then they're dead on. Like, they're almost like Nostradamus of the end zone, right? It's weird. Okay, same thing here. I can look at a flute on an auction site and 9 times out of 10 can tell you whether or not it's going to be a good flute or not. And I've had it before where, like, I'd say, oh, this looks like it's so beautifully made, wonderful. It's got all the characteristics. I know the maker's name, whatever. There's no cracks, there's no damage or anything like that. I'll buy it. Comes in, piece of crap. That happens too, right? So it's always going to be a risk. So that price may look really, really nice, right? You're looking at that price and you go, oh man, but it's only $200 right now. Okay, auction finally goes through, you get to it, or it ends up being like $800. Okay, now $800 can get you, one of these, right? Which are like Taidu approved, right? They sound great, they play great, they can do everything in there that you need them to do. They've got 3 full octaves on shakuhachi, right? That flute that you just bought could or could not be really good. So it's a major risk. And it could look great, but then the sound is not so great because you're not familiar with the maker, you're not familiar with the style. If you're having an old Tozan flute, it's going to be a very specific style, very specific color, and so on. If you have an old Kinko flute, it's going to be very specific style, color. Myowan, so on and so forth. Is it Towari? Is it Kyuhanwari? Is it modern tuned? All of these things you have to consider. Now, if you know a maker, right? So let's say you find a Yozan flute on the auction site. Here's the question. From what year is that Yozan flute from? Because I'll tell you, a Yozan flute 40 years ago is nothing like a modern Yozan flute. Because over the past 40 years, 4 decades, He's gotten a lot better. So again, it really is it really is a crapshoot. There's also a lot of fakes as well, especially for big names. Every once in a while, a really interesting flute comes up, and people just go absolutely nuts over it. I remember there was one that was stamped by Yokoyama Katsuya, my teacher's teacher. And it was a 2.4, smoked bamboo, ivory insert, ivory middle joint. It was a gorgeous instrument. Okay, it went for like $8,000. Right? I don't want to pay $8,000 for a 2.4. No, thank you. So a lot of the really good stuff is gonna be recognized right away and go really expensive. Miura Kindo flutes, sometimes they go anywhere from 40,000 all the way up to 100,000. It just depends on what it is. So on a really good day, you can get it for 3,500, which is an absolute steal for a Miura Kindo. But which Miura Kindo are you getting? You don't get to play it, and you don't get to return it. I've played Miura Kindo flutes where I go, did he really make this? And yeah, it really is his flute. It's just one that wasn't very good. And then I played other ones where I'm just blown away, and I go, how much do you want for it? And 15,000, and it's not for sale. Great. Okay. Just that. Hi, Sean. Hi. Okay. If there are no other questions, I think that I will end the live stream. I'll give it just maybe another minute and a half before I close it all up. One final time, maybe for the giveaway information. And also, I'll mention the Hito Yogiri course first. So, Nick and I are doing, Nick is Nick Belando from Hon Shakuhachi. If you're not subscribed to his channel, if you don't know who I'm talking about, you need to go to his channel. Type in Hon, Hon, hyphen, On, On, Shakuhachi, Shakuhachi. He is a Kinpo-ryu specialist, a Fuke Shakuhachi specialist, and also does Hito Yogiri stuff with me. So we are the team for Taibo Festival, which is the shakuhachi festival that we run in Japan. We are doing our second year here in Aomori this time. We're going to be studying, focusing on Kinpo-ryu techniques and Kinpo-ryu styles, and having a great time up in the apple orchard land. In the meantime, we also are teaching a Hito Yogiri course. You can learn all about the Hito Yogiri course on my website, seanheadmusic.com. And there is a new course starting in October. So if you are interested in learning Hito Yogiri, the old style shakuhachi, then please go ahead and go to my website and sign up there. You can purchase the course. It's 3 months long. And then you can also purchase the Hito Yogiri there for $450. And it is high quality resin, and it's real gold in it too. Real gold. So just like all those, I mentioned the stocks a couple times here. Buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. Silver and gold, they never die. Gold never dies. Okay. So there's that. Now the second thing is the shakuhachi giveaway itself. So why we're actually here. So we have these 4 beautiful Yozan shakuhachis for 3 giveaways. But Sean, there are 4 shakuhachis. How are you doing for 4 shakuhachi giveaways when there's only 3 giveaways? We'll talk about that later. But there are 4 shakuhachis here that we are giving away. And I hope that you sign up for the membership, because that's how you win. So if you sign up for the membership, there are 5 levels, or 4 levels. There is the Shoden Trial, Shoden Lesson, Chuden Lesson, and the Okuden Series. So Shoden will give you 1 ticket. Shoden Trial gives you 1. Shoden Lessons gives you 2. Chuden gives you 5, and Okuden gives you 10. The drawings will be on September 30th. The last Monday, I think it's September 30th, November 25th, and January 27th. I believe that those are the days. It's always the last Monday of the month at 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time. Okay, how can I change my membership if you are already a member? I was thinking of moving up to a higher level. Yeah, buddy. So what you can do is you should be able to just hit the join button again, or you hit membership, and then you can actually raise the level there. And so you can just keep going up higher and higher and higher. There are 2 new membership levels that I have not finished yet, so you can ignore them or you can join them. I'm happy to do that as well. You get all the previous stuff anyways when you join those levels. So, but yeah, it should be as easy as just hitting the join button. If for some reason that doesn't work, what you can do is go to my YouTube channel page, and then there should be a memberships tag there, and then you should be able to upgrade at that point. But yeah, you should be able to upgrade. Not an issue at all. And let's say JW, it's for some reason it's just not working, right? They won't let you upgrade. What I would do, cancel it, and then just order the next level up, because that would probably be the easiest afterwards. And so, yeah. So I think that's it. I've basically talked for what, an hour and a half nonstop. Where can I get the sheet music from? Email me directly. So actually, in the first videos of the Shoden series and in the Chuden series, there's actually a link to a Dropbox where you can download the music. So they should actually be attached into the videos already. If you can't find it for some reason, just email me or go to the Discord channel, and then at the Discord you can email me there. For those who are not in the Discord, you should be in the Discord. So please join the Discord channel. It's a lot of questions like today. If you have a question that pops up, you can put it in there. I'm thinking about continuing doing the live streams a little bit more frequently. I kind of pick different days on them. I might do the next one on Monday. I don't know if Saturday Japan time's the best, just because it's Friday evening, and like some people are actually still at work, and so it's much harder for people to watch. A lot of people will watch this after they get off of work or out of school or whatever thing that they have going on in their life. But hopefully you guys will sign up for the membership, and there's one of you, well, 4 of you will win a new Yozan Shakuhachi, and so very excited for that. Can I still join the giveaway? Yes, you can. The giveaway is going on until till January 2025. So, since you just joined in, it seems, I will go over it once more. There are 3 giveaways happening, right? But there are 4 flutes. Well, how can that be? Well, because we'll talk about that later. But anyways, definitely giving away 3 flutes. And here's what's happening. So September 30th at 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time, I'll be giving away 1 flute. Now, the second one I'll be giving away on November 25th at 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time. Then I will be giving away a 3rd flute on January 27th, 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time. The only way to win is to sign up for the membership. So you come to the Tairyu Shakuhachi thingy, and then you hit the join button, and then there are 4 levels there. Shoden Trial, Shoden, Chuden, Okuden. 1 ticket, 2 tickets, 5 tickets, 10 tickets. And that's how you win. Right? You have to sign up for the membership. If you're already in the membership, you're automatically leveled in. I take everybody's name on the day of the giveaway, and so everybody who's signed up until that point, and I will put it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT will tell me what level they're at and will automatically assign the amount of tickets that they get, and then ChatGPT will do the raffle for me, so it is fair, unbiased, and quick. Before, what I used to do is, if you see this little basket right there, that's called a tengai. It's one of the things that the komuso would wear. I used to write everybody's name out by hand, right? So, I don't mind saying we have over 100 members, right? But on the channel that are a part of the membership. And what's so cool, well, what's so terrible about it, right? And so imagine it's not just writing out 100 names, right, one time. If someone's on the Okuden level, I have to write their name out 10 times, right? And then the Chuden level 5 times. So, it's a lot of tickets to write out. So it was like writing out like 500 tickets. The Tengai was full. So because I don't want to do that again, because people will join and leave and stuff like that. So whether or not they're a member or not, I'd have to go back and check every single one. So basically, I have to go back and rewrite out everything. I can't just keep the names in there. So what I decided to do is, instead of staying up all night for 4 hours just writing out names and putting them into the basket and having a cramp the next day, I decided, let's just let ChatGPT do it. We're in the AI generation anyways. Let's just utilize it. So thank you for your inquiry about the membership and how to win. I hope that you win. I think it'd be amazing. I hope that you also learn a lot from the Shakuhachi series that I've made and put a lot of time into. And folks, just think of it this way: the when you level up, do you get a certificate? Oh, that's a good question, man. You guys are asking. You guys are going to keep me here until 8 o'clock, aren't you? Okay, so here's how the certification will work, right? So let's say if you've gone through the entire Shoden series and you would like to get a certificate, right? You want to get like official recognition that you've completed the course, and you want to meet with me one-on-one, and you want to get like confirmed, like, okay, yes, this person can play all these materials. Yes, this person has the Shoden level. They have like my blessing, as it were. We can do that. So there are fees that go along with that, though. So go to my website and go to lessons, the lessons tab. So SeanHeadMusic.com, and then go to Learn Shakuhachi. I believe has a tab on it. Let me pull that up really quickly. Yeah, Shakuhachi lessons. There, all of the fees for the levels are listed. So you just have to go down to pricing and information. So what it would be is that you have to set up an hour-long lesson with me, so I can listen to you play. And what we'll do is I will need you to pick a collection of pieces from every single genre. So I need to hear a little bit of the children's music, a little bit of everything, and so on and so forth. As far as it goes to with like Okuden, you cannot earn the Okuden just from online stuff. You can earn Shoden and Chuden, but Okuden stuff, you have to be in lessons with me, and you have to actually give out a concert as well. So that actually has to be is a lot more. Jun Shihan and so on, don't even think about it. That will not be done online. Shihan has to be done in person as well. So for higher ranking certificates, those all have to be done basically in person. Okuden has to be done in person online, and you have to give a concert. So my sort of standards for a lot of the certificates and stuff are very high. Shoden and Chuden, I can be a little bit more, lax on, because it's beginner material and intermediate stuff. Okuden is advanced. Jun Shihan is assistant teacher. Like I'm not giving anybody a Jun Shihan or a Shihan who I haven't known for years, because what I'm saying when I give you a Jun Shihan is that I trust you enough that you can teach the material that I've taught you. And Okuden would be saying like, you've learned most of the major materials and so on. So certifications, I have another article on my website that you can go to. It's called What is a Menkyo? So you go to SeanHeadMusic.com, then go to the top left-hand side. It says journal, and I'll actually paste it in here really quickly, which is okay, what are Shakuhachi Menkyo licenses and certificates? Okay, so, and to give a really simple answer of it is, think of it like as the Suzuki program, right? So the Suzuki program for violin, there are 9 levels for it, and each level progressively gives you recognition as completing it. And those certificates can get you into certain things or certain programs and certain recognitions and so on and so forth. So for example, if you want to be a Suzuki certified teacher, you need to go through all of the books yourselves and learn them and learn how to teach them, and then so on. And then you can do that same program as well and teach Suzuki stuff. So when you get a certification from me, and I don't have an example of one with me right now, but if you're really interested in that, there's an example on the website of what a Menkyo looks like. But at any rate, what it does is like the first couple of them is recognition. Like you're my student, you're a part of this series, you're a part of this studio and growing. Once you get the Jun Shihan, it gives you permission to teach with using my name, right? So you could say, I'm certified with this teacher who is, teaching whatever, performing, has this name and so on, and it gives you authority to teach certain pieces for the student, and the student basically sees that you have the certificate and goes, yeah, I can trust that. Okay, so for example, you are a lawyer from Harvard Law School. You passed the bar and everything. Okay, someone says, okay, what's your certification? I passed the bar and I have a degree from Harvard Law. Okay, I trust you, right? Those certifications give me trust to know that I'm hiring somebody that can do the job. Okay, other person you go look at, it's like, yeah, I've passed the bar, or after 5 times. Like, I've taken it 5 times, I've passed the bar. Like, okay, where did you go to school? Uh, well, Backwoods University. What is Backwoods University? Where is that? Well, it's no longer there as an institution, but that's where I went and I got my law degree. Okay, less trust in that guy, more trust in Harvard Law. Okay, so that's what the certifications do, right? They're basically a way of giving authority and also giving confidence to the people who want to take lessons with you. Now this sort of system has unfortunately been tainted a little bit by American like martial arts academies. But think of like jujitsu categories, okay? Because I think jujitsu is still taken very seriously in America. Even a jujitsu blue belt is like a force to be reckoned with. So if you have your black belt in jujitsu, you are like you seriously earned that, especially in America, right? Even more so in Japan, or like judo, or so on and so forth. Like there's a bunch of different places where those certifications mean a lot. So, but that's what that is. And in other martial arts and other places, they also give away Menkyo and Menkyo Kaiden. So Menkyo just means certification or license, and then Menkyo Kaiden means full transmission. So it means that all the things of the school have been handed off to you, and then you have full authority to teach, and so on. And that would be like the equivalent of our Daishihan, Shihan Daishihan area. Okay, so hopefully that answers everybody's questions. And okay, is playing outside beneficial, especially if you wanted to study higher levels? Absolutely, it is. The thing about play outside. If you want to get really good at shakuhachi and you want to develop tone color and you want to develop expressivity, you want to understand the rhythm of breath, play outside. I can't give you the exact breakdown of why and how everything works and so on, but it's not just it's not just driving to a park, sitting on a bench and playing outside. That's not what I mean. I mean, take your flute, put a hiking bag on your back, fill it with water and a couple snacks and some music, and get outside, go into the forest, go on a hike, and go play. Go to a stream or a lake, walk around, fish, and play shakuhachi. Go climb a mountain, go do something, do different seasons of the year. Anything to get you outside to experience all the different glories of nature. There is so many beautiful things that are just breathtaking. The really working with the breath and walking and having your body move and go play outside. Go play outside. JW, go play outside. Where is it best to play? Go play outside. Just outside. It's like when I was a kid. Outside, go play. You can't be in here. Go out there and whatever, and then lock the door, right? And our only source to water was a garden hose. Okay, and that garden hose, that water was good. That was good water. Okay. RRSVR asks, do you play any other instruments? Yes, I play. I was a concert violinist and violist, and I don't claim to be a really good one. But when I was living in Texas, I taught a high school orchestra. I also worked as a private teacher for violin and viola. And when I was teaching orchestra, I also taught cello and bass. I also played piano. I worked as an opera violist. I did chamber music. I did symphonic orchestras. I did lots of things in the Western classical realm. but I just was done with it. I didn't like it anymore. Not to mention, I love classical music. I just don't want to be in the chamber orchestra anymore. I don't want to play that type of music. I don't get as much satisfaction out of it as I do playing the shakuhachi and its traditional repertoire, and working with composers and having new music written for this instrument. I like this world a lot more performing wise. So, but yes, I do play other instruments. I also play piano, and I actually play guitar as well. But those are more like passing hobbies. I wouldn't consider myself to be a professional by any stretch of the imagination. So those are the other instruments that I play. Oh, this is a very good live stream. I think that the big saving grace of it is to have questions prepared beforehand. So if the live stream chat is slow, then I still have things that I can talk about. And so that is something that is for me to learn. So let's say we stop the live stream and you have some questions later. What I recommend is go to the Discord channel and write out your questions there. I will answer more of the questions there. And if it's a very, very, very good question, then what we'll do is I will put it onto the Taidu Tips series. So it will actually be its own video, and your little box and comment will show up there and whatnot. So it's been an hour and 36 minutes or something like that. So I will call it a quits for this live stream. If you haven't signed up for the membership, sign up for the membership. You have to be able to win a flute. And there's 3 giveaways and I have 4 flutes. So what's happening with the 4th flute? We'll talk about that later. But sign up for the membership so you can have a chance to win. Just like they say with the lottery, you've got to play to win. And even if you don't win a flute, you win out because there's so much material there for you to learn from. So even at the lowest level, I think there's like 30 videos for $2.99. It's nothing. That's crazy. Okay. Then for $4.99, there's like 70 videos. Can someone do the math on that? Let's do that really quickly. How many pennies, right? So 500 divided by 70. I'm going to get the math for this. I need a human calculator. I don't think that's right. All right, so I think it's like ends up being 70, like it's pennies for a video lesson. 71. Let's put 70. So it's, okay, 70 videos. That is 7 cents a video. Okay, for that second level. 7 cents a video. And you can watch it again and again and again. Okay, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is giving people access to learn how to play shakuhachi on a budget. So that way you guys can sign up and then be on the membership, and then you can go for a couple weeks and then say, okay, I gotta take a step back, I can't continue, and then keep going and then go back. Okay, then you get more serious, you're more consistent, you want higher level stuff. Okay, yes, it gets a little bit more expensive, becomes $15 for the month, but then you have access to even higher quality stuff. There's the entire Chuden series plus a technique series, 20 lessons, right? One of those lessons, by the way, is an hour and some odd minutes long. So at the $15 level, okay, let's just do the math really quickly. Google, so there it goes up to about 140 videos, and we're going to divide it by, and we'll do it by $15. Okay, so 140 videos, and then you have 15. So 9.3. How did I do the math on this before? 70. Yeah. So you pay $15. Oh, I was going to do it by pennies. That's right. So you do it this way. So you go 1,500 divided by 140. Okay, so it's 10 cents per video to access all the videos. Right? So you're paying 10 cents to access these additional 50 videos, many of which are extremely long and detailed. And then you have the level even after that, which gives you like advanced Honkyoku music. So it's worth to just sign up just because of what's in there and all the things that you can learn there. And it's not like you have to you can only do this and you can't do anything else, right? I know many people who are utilizing this series in tandem with their lessons. They may not watch the the lessons for like how to learn a piece, but they'll jump in and they want to learn the technique stuff, and they want to learn that, or they see certain areas in which my school doesn't teach that, so I'm interested in learning that, so you can. It's not a replacement for not having a teacher. What it's designed for is that you can do self-study and you can develop your skills on a budget. And if you would like to learn, you want to do it yourself, you're not really interested in having a teacher, you just want to get to a certain level and that's fine with you, then great. This is exactly for you. That's exactly what the program is designed for. And it's also designed for people who can't afford a teacher too. Now again, I'm not saying that it can replace a teacher, because one-on-one teaching is way more valuable. I'll say it like that. But if you don't have the money to do it, this is the option, right? And I don't want the barrier to be, well, I don't have this amount of money, because that amount of money in my country is like a month's worth of, income, or a week's worth of income, and so on and so forth. And that can be the case. And I know people who are signed up for the membership who are like that. Like, there's no way they could ever afford lessons. So they do this instead. And so that's what I've made it for. And so I hope that you can benefit from it, and so on and so forth. So anyways, that is my little rant at the end there. I hope that you guys enjoyed the live stream. I hope you sign up for the membership and so on, and made the flute go to a really great person who can really utilize it and love it and cherish it. The last flute just went to somebody in Istanbul. So I'm pretty sure the flute has already arrived to him and so on. So he's enjoying it, loving it, and cherishing it, and can be a great shakuhachi player one day. I will see you guys next time for another live stream. Just subscribe to the channel. By the way, 80% of people who watch my channel aren't subscribed. What the heck is that? Like, hit the subscribe button. It's not that hard. So, oh, you're from Turkey as well? Well, maybe if you sign up, maybe it's going to go to you too. Maybe Turkey is the country of the year to win flutes. I don't know, but hey, there's 4 flutes to give away, so the chances of you getting it are actually kind of high. There's not that many members on the channel. Jostat, thank you for your expertise. No, thank you for your viewership. Without you, the expertise means nothing if there's no one to share it with. Okay? So, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Keep playing shakuhachi. And